Today I'm joined by Kevin Murphy, a full stack Rails developer at PubMark, as well as a frequent blogger and conference speaker. He'll be delivering his talk, Instillment of Successful Practices in an Agentic World, at Blue Ridge Ruby this spring. Kevin, thanks for making the time to chat.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Your talk is maybe one of the few talks that we're leaving some of the details out. We're not going to plot spoil anything on yours. So I want to talk about some other things with you instead. So maybe I'll start here. Your talks and writing often have like an overarching theme or metaphor that grounds the technical content in it. It certainly makes your talk stand out, but I'm curious, is it primarily to provide a constraint for yourself to make decision making easier, to aid in audience learning, or simply to take some kind of opportunity for artistic license?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of reasons I use some farcical theme so much of the time, and I mean, the big one is just whether I'm on stage or writing, I want to tell a story. And I could tell a purely technical story, but I think I have a better chance at sticking in someone's memory if I tie it to something else as well.
Yeah.
It also forces me to build everything up from the ground level with the audience. Right? Like if I'm basing something that's purely on past experience, I might miss sharing some context that would be really helpful that I wouldn't even think about because I'm in it,
Yeah.
even if it's just like an acronym that I don't think that other people wouldn't know. But if I'm building something fresh, it's a lot more obvious, right? Because if I need to explain it to myself, then I need to explain it to the audience. And then it's like, it's right there. It's just like, oh yeah, we need to actually talk about that.
That makes sense.
And I mean, lastly, it's supposed to be a little bit of fun, right?
Yeah.
Like when I'm on stage, I need to entertain the audience for 20 to 30 minutes. And hopefully my absurd situations I devise help with that. But also, and no offense to everyone else, but maybe more importantly, I need to entertain myself with this
Yeah.
for the 2 months prior, because that's how long it takes me to build a talk, and I know that. So I need to keep it interesting and exciting for me, because if I'm dragging through the preparation process, that's going to come across on stage, and I don't want that, and neither will the audience.
Yeah. That makes total sense. And you were talking about building, and I kept thinking of the term like world building. That's how your talks come across. It definitely feels like that, which is really fun. So it makes sense. It's entertaining you. It's entertaining the audience, and it definitely sticks in the brain. I personally have sensed like an element of risk taking with your talks. Going back to maybe this idea of world building or things that you do, like is this like how is this? Constructing this large story or this world to live in the talk. And maybe risk taking is not the right way to say it, but that's how I've seen it play out in your talks. Would you agree with that, or how would you put it?
I mean, it started off with just like, this is the only way I know how to do it. Right?
Yeah.
And things that might come across as risks to some people might not be risks to me and vice versa. Like it wasn't intentional, but I think it's definitely come to pass. Like thinking back through other talks that I've given, I have a proposal that started as a dare to myself, which was like, I'm going to get up on stage and talk about all the ridiculous things I have to look up constantly.
Yeah.
And that'll be funny, and no one will ever want to see that. But like it'll demonstrate that it's okay to not know things, and also show how I find information and catalog it. And then some program committee was like, "What if you do it?" I'm like, "Oh no." And then I couldn't have just like left it at that. That would have been hard enough. But on top of that, to like help the narrative of the talk, I built a search engine to power the talk.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I mean, it's the world's worst search engine, but technically I did it. It's a real search engine, right? And I certainly didn't have to do that. Like nothing in my talk was reliant on there being an actual functioning search engine. And a lot of my talks aren't incredibly technical, but they're driven by code. And I
Yeah.
think that helps give me some credibility with the audience. But it also just gives me a common language that I can use to express the ideas I'm trying to get across on stage, which may not always purely be look at this code and explain it. But the code can help reinforce the idea that I'm getting across. I mean, there's so many silly things that have turned into risks. Like the first time I was at Blue Ridge, it was a talk about a concert tour. So, I got the idea that like, oh, I should try to run this talk as many times as possible. So I reached out to literally every local meetup that would have me virtually. And then I really did have a tour schedule for this talk that was about a concert tour.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that makes sense. It occurred to me as you were talking about like this, I think your browser history confessional, is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one was in a sense like a dare. The proposal was a bit of a dare to the organizers. Like, would you accept this? And then if they double down on that, you end up having to go for it. So that like kind of to me is like a way that you try something like, what if this worked? What if what if I had to pull this off? Could I do it? And then it comes out well. So that's cool to see. I like to see that. And you're right. Maybe for some people that wouldn't be risky. Maybe it's my own perspective of what feels risky about not playing just the straight, like here's the technical content. You could go straight through it with no story, no world building or whatever, or without any like sense of can I pull this off or not. But when you do, like it really helps like solidify in people's minds and sticks with them, long term.
Yeah, and I mean, because I have that sort of like history built up, I would say like for me personally, the biggest risk that I've taken on stage was in my last talk at the last RailsConf, and that's because I talked about myself. And I talked about myself as myself, and I couldn't hide behind a theme or some nonsensical world.
Yeah.
And that was hard for me because it was so different, and there's a different level of vulnerability when you're just like, I'm just this goofy person on stage talking about building an app that tells you if you should wear a sweater or not versus like, hi, I'm me, I'm Kevin, let's talk about me.
Yeah. I guess in a sense I wonder if speaking at conferences is a way for you to push the boundaries on your own creativity and what you are capable of as a person and how you're communicating.
It's definitely helped me find a voice, I guess I'll say, and like curate how I want to show up in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's definitely how I felt about it as well. How often does the content for your talks come out of your day-to-day work, and how often does it come out of just your own personal investigation or academic pursuits? And which is the case for this new talk?
A lot of it, I'd say, is learned experience built up over time. And the themes have certainly been a way to help like mask that as well. Like, honestly, the start of it was just very pragmatic because like when I started my speaking career, I was a consultant and I couldn't share directly the things that I was working on, right? Even if my employer was cool with it, I'd also need to get the client's permission, and it would have just been a huge hassle. And I was just like, it's not even worth it. So I'll just like build some pretend thing. And what I learned from it is just as valid and applicable, whether, we're talking about the actual domain that it's in or something, absurd. For this talk, I'd argue it's more of an opinion piece, but I guess it's one that's informed by my opinion and perspective, both in my day-to-day work and also just general awareness of industry trends.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. I'm very curious, having read your full proposal, I'm very curious to see everything that comes out of it. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, that's both makes two of us. As a frequent conference speaker, you've definitely given a lot of different talks. What keeps you coming back to the stage beyond what we've talked about so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, and I say that because it's one that I have to keep asking myself.
Yeah.
Because
are you asking why do I do this, or are you asking do I want to do this?
Or both. Both. Because it's an investment that you put in, and there's a payoff there, but you need to make sure that it's worth it and it fits with your life right now. But I mean, I'll be honest, I do think about stopping. And part of it is like, partly I get concerned that like I'm being selfish and I should like cede the stage and the space to others to share their stories because that's so important to me. And part of why I feel like it's so selfish is because speaking has been such a personal benefit to me with my conference experience, right? Like it's easier for me to meet new people at a conference when I already have a backup topic, which is, whatever it is I'm talking about in the program.
Yeah.
And knowing that there's only so many speaking slots, like I want to make sure that other people have that opportunity as well.
Yeah.
But like generally for like, why I speak and write or whatever it is that I do out there, I'm hoping to be somewhat helpful to the community. I mean, conferences and conference talks and blog posts, whatever it might have been, has been critical in shaping my understanding about so many things throughout my career, both technical and not. And if I can serve the audience by just like giving a small slice of that back to them, then I mean that's one of the highest compliments I could get from someone professionally.
Yeah, I like that. And to go back to your point about not wanting to hog the stage or something, I will say, like, you are pretty selfless in that you have repeatedly offered to review people's proposals. So you are often pushing and encouraging other people to take stage and to help them get there if it's their first time. So I think that's great, and I like really applaud that.
It's fun, right? It's another way to help out, and it's great to see.
Yeah. So you're one of a few speakers returning to Blue Ridge this year. Is there anything that you're looking forward to in particular this time?
Yeah, I'm excited to come back. I mean, technically, not to brag, but I am the first person to ever speak at Blue Ridge Ruby.
It's true.
And that's because of you, Jeremy, right? Like, I heard you were thinking about putting the event on, and I reached out to you and was like, hey, if you're nervous you won't get speakers, well, if you want it, you can have me. And then you were foolish enough to be like, yeah, sure.
I don't know how you talked me into that.
And like, regional conferences in general are so important. They can be more accessible to others than the larger conferences, but even holding that aside, which is very important, they also just carry a different weight to them.
Yeah.
And I'm not from the Blue Ridge area. And so especially like that first time coming down, there was not really like genuine concern, but there was like a bit of concern of just like, oh, am I going to be like an outsider or an imposter
Yeah.
because I'm not really from here?
Yeah.
And everyone was just so welcoming and inviting. And Blue Ridge specifically, and this speaks to you as well, Jeremy, has just such incredible intentionality behind it. Like there's the program, which I won't hold aside because I'm a part of it, so that means it's the best part.
Yeah.
But there's also space for community building, and this year you've introduced the roundtable discussions and the hack day. And you also care about the small stuff too, right? So like, as an example, as silly as this might sound, like I'm wearing my t-shirt from the first Blue Ridge. And on the inside of this shirt, in the tag area, it has the dates and the location of the conference, which I've never seen before. And that's something that no one else is going to notice because it's on the inside of the t-shirt, but it brings such a smile to my face whenever I see it in my drawer.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, thanks. I'm planning to do that again this year, hopefully. So,
Hopefully
Yeah.
not a spoiler.
yeah, thanks. That means a lot. I care about a lot of the little details. I'm feeling definitely buried right this second by all those details, but they really matter to me because I know when you put it all together, it all adds up to a really meaningful experience. Well, I won't take any more of your time. Kevin, thanks so much for talking to me. I'm really excited to see your talk. I think it's going to be a great one. I know we didn't get to talk too much about what it is, but I think people are really going to get a lot out of it. So thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll see you coming here at April 30th.
I'll be there. And, I think if you as the audience want to come to a place where that core experience is top notch and also those small details like the tag of your t-shirt are incredibly so well thought out, you should come to Blue Ridge Ruby as well.
Thanks.